Today we're talking about Hank Williams Jr. and Post Malone. One's an outlaw country legend and the other initially made his name in rap and hip hop. But in this video we dig a little deeper and find out that not only do they look alike, they have striking similarities that go beyond the surface. Especially since Post Malone has revealed that he's always had a place for music outside the hip hop world.
Whenever I want to cry, whenever I want to sit down and have a nice cry, I listen to some like Bob Dylan. But whenever I'm trying to have a good time, stay in a positive mood, I listen to hip hop because it's fun.
To start with their looks, both Hank Williams Jr. and Post Malone share a rugged outlaw image. Long hair, thick beards, and that been through some things vibe. For Hank Jr., the beard and sunglasses became part of his identity after a near-fatal hiking accident in 1975, when he fell down Ajax Peak in Montana. The fall left him with severe facial scars, which he's covered ever since with his beard and shades. Post Malone, on the other hand, has admitted in interviews that his facial appearance, mainly the tattoos, come from insecurities about his natural looks. He once said that his face tats make him feel cooler, and his beard gives off that same rugged mystique, likely adding to the confidence his tattoos were meant to create.
The face tattoos make me interesting to look at, so where I might lack in handsomeness, I make up for in intrigue at least.
In a way, both artists grew facial hair as a sort of armor. Hank Jr.'s hides literal scars, while Post Malone's hides emotional ones. And Post Malone has always had a country side, even before his fame. He's got a tattoo of Johnny Cash and has expressed his love for country legends like Hank Williams long before prominent fame. A young Post Malone dropped a video of himself playing There's a Tear in My Beer, a song originally written by Hank Williams but finished and famously performed by Hank Jr., who merged his own voice with his late father's in the music video.
Well, I'm gonna keep drinking until I'm petrified. And maybe my heart won't hurt me so.
Post Malone's performance here was more than just a casual cover. It was an early sign of where his heart was musically. Fast forward to 2024 and Post Malone finally leaned all into country with his new album called F1 Trillion. On one of the tracks, he was lucky enough to feature Hank Williams Jr. on a song called Finer Things, a southern rock-infused jam that sounds straight out of Hank Jr.'s golden era.
Tripping on a solo of Happy Reserve, Big H on the top of my getaway bird.
And their similarities go beyond looks and collaborations. It's their shared spirit of rebellion that really connects them. They even both like to perform shirtless from time to time. Hank Jr. spent his early career under the immense shadow of his father, the legendary Hank Williams. Nashville wanted him to stick to the traditional country mold, but he refused. Instead, he fused rock, blues, and country into a new sound that alienated some, but built him a fiercely loyal fan base. Post Malone did the same thing in his own era. The music industry tried to label him as a white rapper, but he pushed back, mixing hip-hop, rock, and alternative sounds to create something totally his own. And now, like Hank Jr. before him, he's returned to the genre that's always been a part of his soul. Both musically and emotionally, Post Malone and Hank Jr. wear their pain on their sleeves. Hank Jr. poured his into songs like Whiskey Bent and Hellbound, which captures the raw, self-destructive reality of living fast.
I get whiskey bent, hellbound.
Post Malone does the same thing in songs like I Fall Apart and Feeling Whitney, which exposes his vulnerability and struggles with fame, loneliness, and addiction.
And I was feeling wicked in my own self.
Their music resonates because it's unfiltered. It's about real human flaws, not polished perfection. Both of them represent the kind of artists who don't ask for acceptance. They earn loyalty by being authentically themselves. Even their careers mirror each other in both timing and transformation. Hank Jr. was in his late 20s and early 30s when he fully stepped into his outlaw image with the beard, the shades, and the attitude. Before then, Hank Jr. was a clean-shaven kid known for honoring his dad's songs by covering them for the world to hear.
Get your hope, rate each thing I do.
In Post Malone's early days, he also rocked a more clean-shaven look. But now at 30 years old, he's in the same stage of life Hank Jr. once was, finding his true country sound and growing into his new image.
Buddy, that don't mean she's yours.
Both artists have been known to break established music norms, blur the lines between genres, and prove that great music doesn't belong in one category of sound. So the next time you see Post Malone on stage with his beard and tattoos, or watch old Hank Jr. perform in his cowboy hat and shades, remember, these two aren't just lookalikes. They're spiritual twins of two different generations and upbringings, bound by rebellion, authenticity, and a deep love for country music that can't be contained.